Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to answer one of our God-ordained wives question. If you have a question you would like for me to answer right here on the channel, head over to godordainedmarriages.com, click on the tab that says contact us, and send me your question, okay? So here's her email question she sent me. Hello, Tequila. I would like your advice on whether we, as standing God ordained wives, are allowed to hang out with male friends. To be specific, these would be platonic male friends that we had prior to God showing us our husband. Here is my situation. My God ordained prodigal spouse and I are currently in separation as he is with a counterfeit. We have been separated for a couple of months, and God has been daily sending me signs of my marriage promise, but in July, they increased significantly. I, I also been seeing 333 and 888 along with the signs, so I know that God was getting ready to do something. During the last few days of July, the Holy Spirit was upon me so powerfully to keep praying for my prodigal, and I was very emotional and I couldn't understand why. On July 30th, at about 3 a.m., my prodigal called me, but I missed the calls as I was sleeping and my phone was on silent. Later that day, and on July 31st, the signs popped up everywhere, even more than before. On August the 1st, my male coworker turned friend and I went to hang out for a bit as it was a holiday where I live. The place where we went to was filled with people, and I did not realize that my prodigal was there with the counterfeit, as they were not in my line of sight. He happened to pass by me and saw me with my friend. He looked surprised and somewhat distraught and was suddenly walking back and forth in front of us quite a bit. At one point, he even stared at my friend in a confrontational manner. After this, he suddenly came closer with the counterfeit and was in my line of sight. It was almost as if he was checking on me. My friend even made a comment about his behavior. I found it ironic that soon after he called me, he suddenly saw me with someone, and I haven't heard from him since. I'm not sure if it was a trick of the enemy to hurt him. I know we are to remain loyal to our prodigals while in separation, but this incident had me wondering if I should not have or avoid hanging out with male friends so as to not give my prodigal the wrong idea or delay anything from happening. What are your thoughts? Okay, so thank you for your email. What are my thoughts? Well, number one, I want you to use this particular situation as a learning lesson. Okay. So, you all have watched the video where I was explaining how God was telling us to be loyal to our God ordained spouses, right? And so, even though you watched that video, you know you are to remain loyal to your prodigal, but yet, and I'm not saying you were disloyal by going out with your male friend, but now that you found yourself in this situation and you see how your God ordained prodigal spouse has responded, just by seeing you out with another man, what is that telling you? What lessons can you learn here? Right? Because when God told me the beginning of this year to be loyal to my God ordained spouse, I knew immediately why he was saying that to me. I knew, number one, if I'm being loyal to my God ordained spouse, I'm also being loyal to God, right? So that was like an obedience test. That was, a test of my loyalty, right? But I also knew because I learned this lesson a couple of years ago, right? This is why I don't have male friends just hanging around in the background. Okay. I have one male friend, he's married, and we don't see each other like in person. I probably see him once every 3 4 years, um and I might talk to him on the phone probably twice a year. So I'm not concerned about him and I ended up together, things of that nature, right? So I don't have male friends just hanging around, some male friends to just go out with. No, because I understand when you have male friends around, they could be co-worker, they could be platonic friendship. When you have weak moments, when you are vulnerable, when you get into it with your mate, right? We tend to turn to our friends, right? When we going through stuff, who's there to listen to us? These male friends, right? And when we are in these vulnerable positions, now these male platonic friends turns into baby daddies, they turns into situationship, right? And we were never, it was never designed to go that route. So for this reason, I just cut off the male friends. Okay. And so I want you to learn from this situation, use it as a learning lesson. Now, let me just say, when the Lord, you said the Lord, he began to speak to you, you start seeing the number 333888, and then the Holy Spirit came upon you to keep praying for your prodigal. Understand, okay, that was the Lord getting your attention. He wanted you to press in the prayer, and when the Lord is moving like that, something is he's cooking it up. Okay, he's working on this promise, something is about to pop or something is shifting. Okay, so you asked, you said, I'm not sure if this was the trick of the enemy to hurt him. Well, one thing I can say is now the enemy is about to play around in his mind, because now he's thinking, is this the reason why she didn't answer the phone when I called her at 3 o'clock, in the morning that night? Right? See, and this is another reason why God tell us to be loyal to our God-ordained spouse. He don't want us to give the enemy no room to come in and play mind games. He don't want us to give the enemy any room to come in and allow our spouses to see us with the opposite sex, right? Because we are the believing spouse. We are the ones who, God is expecting more from us. Like he's expecting for us to show up a little differently, okay? Because you might be the only Bible your God-ordained prodigal spouse reading, right? But if he see his God-ordained wife out with other men, because he don't know that these are platonic, okay? He don't know, you know. But if he's seeing his God-ordained wife out with other men, you're looking like the counterfeits. Now he's just gonna group you into what she just like every other woman, right? When God calls you to stand out. So I want you to use the situation as a learning opportunity for you. What can you learn from this? How did this make you feel when you saw the look on your God-ordained prodigal spouse face? He looked at your friend, in a confrontational manner. That's because he probably was wondering, like, what are you doing with my wife? And another thing is, see, you don't know what all he went through with this counterfeit. She, all the some of these counterfeits he's been dealing with, they could have been cheating on him. They could have been lying to him. He catching them in lies and stuff. And now he see you, right? Just when he was having hope that, because God was pressing in on you, the Holy Spirit came upon you. So that means God was working on him. And then when he called you, that's another evidence that God was working on him. Just when he started to hope again, just when God was, correcting him and speaking to him about you, now he see this. So I want you to really use this as a learning opportunity, okay? I'm not saying you got to cut off your male friends. I'm not saying you got to stop talking to them. But I do want you to just use this as a learning opportunity, okay? And understand this is a marriage stance, okay? Your friends can wait, okay? This is a God-ordained marriage. So if God is telling you be loyal, tell your friends, listen, I'm gonna be over here. I might be missing in action. I ain't gonna be able to hang out, for the next 6 months, right? You just gotta go there. I'm not gonna be able to hang out. I got some things I gotta work on, something else is requiring my attention right now that I gotta focus on. So I'm not gonna be able to hang out, with y'all right now. However way you want to say it, but you got to understand when we talk about God-ordained marriage, this is your destiny, okay? So God needs you 100% focused. He needs you to close all doors to the enemy, because you don't know how the enemy is going to come in and use or operate, through particular people. You don't know. So don't give the enemy any room to keep coming in between what God is bringing together. Okay. So that is my advice. I am Tequila Coleman. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a positive comment. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.